welcome back to my car cave. Today I'm here with a new release from Minichamps. This time it's the 1994 Williams FW16 from the Pacific Grand Prix. This is a larger 1/12 scale model, so a little different than what we're usually talking about. This is from the Senna collection. It comes with this nice presentation with a picture of the car on the front, the Senna stripes from his helmet. The usual Senna boxes are yellow like his helmet, so this is a little bit different. I think the blue must be a nod to the Williams livery. If you look on the side here, you got again the Senna Seeker Truth. I'm not sure what the Seeker Truth is all about. That's new on these Senna boxes. A little schematic elevation of the car. However, this looks like a McLaren from '91, I suspect. Did a little bit of information about the car on the side, Pacific Grand Prix. And then as you flip it over, you'll notice first off, this is going to be a resin model. So, again, Minichamps progressively moving towards more resin models. The 1990 1/12 scale McLaren also was in resin. This one is a limited edition of 111 pieces. The Senate Institute here used to be the Senate Foundation. Not sure if those are the same things or not. But anyways, overall, nice box. If anything, I'd say it's a shockingly small box for a 1/12 scale compared to the previous ones I have. So I'll be curious to see how they pack this all up. I'll go ahead and get it out of the box and we'll take a closer look. Okay, now that I've got the cover off, you can see it comes in this nice styrofoam clamshell protective cover. You open it up and there's the model. Now, unlike the 1990, it does not come with a base, which is maybe why it has a smaller packaging. Looks very nice from here, and as you can see, though, it is missing one thing. It's missing the livery. But this car, like the 1/18 scale, does come with the decals and instructions on how to apply them or where to apply them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get back to looking at this model up close in its proper livery. Okay, now that we got it out of the clamshell and into its proper livery, let's go ahead and take a look at it and talk about the race history for a second. So again, the 1994 Williams FW16. This is the Pacific Grand Prix spec, and you'll know that because of this upper front wing element that was added onto the car specifically for this race and then used again, I believe, in Monaco. So clearly it's a high downforce circuit and requires some extra additional aero bits to create the downforce they were looking for. Williams felt compelled to add these little flares here on the front as well, which I thought was interesting. So overall, it's just a unique looking car. It's a different spec than we saw for most of the season. This is kind of an element that we really kind of saw in the early 80s, 83, 84, 85, I think. We kind of saw these extra wing elements disappear. So I'm not sure what was in the rules regulations for 94 that allowed for this, because we didn't see it, I think, before or after that. Particularly if they use it at Monaco, you would have seen it year after year, and I just don't recall that. So anyways, I just think it's a unique setup. That said, it was not a successful race for Senna by any stretch. He was on pole, but he lost position to Schumacher down the front straight, and then was bumped from behind by Mika Hakkinen, and then T-boned by Nicola Larini in his Ferrari. So that was not the race Senna was looking for. Supposedly he sat on the sidelines or off track for about 10 laps, listening for traction control in use on several of the cars. And that was a hot topic during the 94 campaign. And I think he reportedly went back and said he felt like the Benetton had traction control being deployed during the race, which was banned after Williams had used it so successfully in the previous years. And that said, again, they don't usually make cars for, a non-winning race or, spec versions of a car for a non-winning race. But I think this is super unique. I frankly wish they would make the Benetton version in 1/18th for Schumacher. He did win the event. Again, I like this extra little wing element. I think it's, just distinguishes the cars because, for much of the 90s, late 80s, 90s, you just kind of had a square piece back here on the end plate. So, anyways, nice looking model, and let's go ahead and compare this with the 1/18th scale. Here you can see the larger 1/12 compared to his smaller 1/18th scale. Both are from Minichamps. The main difference here would be that obviously it's smaller, but secondarily it's a die-cast model, so you get the rolling wheels and all that fun stuff we like that you do not get with the resin. But other than that, it looks pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and look at some of the details on the 1/12 scale and see if they're the same on the 1/18th. So this being a larger 1/12 scale, in my mind, this presents a great opportunity for extra details that you wouldn't get in the 1/18th. Just the same as 1/18th presents an opportunity to have more detail than, say, 1/43rd. But that said, when I look over this car, I think you'd be surprised. There's really very little difference in the quality and the details. So let's kind of go ahead and talk about some of that. First of all, obviously the difference. This is resin. It's not die cast. So as with all the resin models, you don't get spinning wheels or turning wheels or any of that kind of stuff like you would on the 1/18th scale. Um, Decal wise, you get the Rothman's tobacco decals just as you would on the 1/18th scale. So that's the same. Carbon fiber decaling. Here you get the carbon fiber decaling on this upper front wing plane. You do get decaling on this lower air directional vane. You do not get that on the 1/18 scale. You also get the carbon fiber decaling on the brake air ducts, which you do get on the 1/18 scale. Then moving to the back, both cars have carbon fiber decaling here on the upper main plane, as well as on the inside of the wing end plates. Where you do not get carbon fiber decaling on the 1/18 scale is on this lower beam plane or beam wing plane. That's carbon fiber decaling here on the 1/12, not on the 1/18th. Also, you get some carbon fiber decaling on this aero shroud that covers the suspension on the 1/12. On 1/18th, it's a plastic engraved kind of imprinted carbon fiber texture. In the back, the lifter brackets here, those are painted silver here. On the 1/18th, they're just in black. Back here, this little adjustment decal here is done in silver. It's in black on the 1/18th, and then the end plates are screwed together with these tiny little screws that would just be too small for the 1/18 scale. Additionally, you get some carbon fiber treatment here, right where the side pod meets the floorboard. A little bit here as well, where the side pod meets the floorboard. I think you can see it, hopefully, in the light. The 1/12 scale, this cutout here, that's definitely more apparent on the 1/12 scale than it is on the 1/18 scale. You can see right that scalped out part right there. There's an indentation on the 1/18th. It's just not as clear as the shape of it as it is on the 1/12. Let's see, looking the radio antenna here, it's got a little ball on the top of that. On 1/18th, it's just a black piece of plastic. And that's really it. The decaling here is also different on 1/18 scale. I actually find it to be more accurate based on photos, so that's kind of the same. There's a photo etched little loop here. You get that on the 1/18th. The gas cap, that's a plastic insert, that's also on the 1/18th. Really the bigger differences probably come in the cockpit. Here you get a fabric seat belt with photo etched parts. It's a decal on the 1/18 scale. But inside, you get the same carbon fiber decaling. There's a little Williams Engineering and FIA sticker on the inside of the cockpit there. Kind of hard to see in this light. Maybe I can get a photo. That's also on the 1/18 scale. And then the helmet's different. The helmet here uses a black plastic visor. It's separate from the helmet, just makes it look more realistic at this scale. Whereas, on the 118th, it's just a decal as a part of the usual setup for Minichamps. But overall, both cars are amazing. You get a little bit more of a detailed wheel nut here. Both are colored on each side, but it's just a little more of this kind of opening here that's a little more detailed than say on the 118th. Shockingly, on both of them, you get these temperature sensor stickers on the brake calipers, which I think is pretty cool. You get that also on the 118th. So, anyways, the 118th was really, it's a fantastic model. So, it's hard to have improved. I guess, yeah, one obvious place that I think they kind of should have done something was the floorboard here is just a plain plastic. There's no carbon fiber pattern that I can discern or tell. Whereas on the 118th, you have a carbon fiber pattern. And then if you flip it over on the 118th, it's also got the carbon fiber pattern here. And this is plain plastic. And a big miss in my mind is here on the 118th, they actually have kind of a fake exhaust imprinted there. And here they could clearly, at this scale, they could add a hole there, and they could have had, exhaust tips, little silver exhaust tips right there. That would have been a nice little add-on feature. It's the underside of the car, so I know that's why they didn't bother, but really they could have done something better. But again, overall, an amazing model. Like I said, not terribly different than the 118th, but the 118th was really, in my mind, top notch already. But the presence of 112th is not to be undersold. So in summary, a really great model. Super happy to add this to my collection. I've always liked this particular version of the FW16. Anyways, yeah, so this is really nice. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe. I'll have some more models coming soon. And thanks for watching.